Hi, everybody, it's Jessica, and welcome to the curated Dollhouse Thanksgiving. Today, I am going to show you how I made this adorable ham and ham slices for my dollhouse. So, to start, you're going to need some wooden dowels, some glue sticks, some acrylic paint, as well as some MiniVerse pineapples and some MiniVerse cherries. So to start this project, you're going to make kind of a wide oval shape on your either silicone mat or a ruler. I'm using a metal ruler, and I am using this wooden dowel to help me shape my ham, but to also be a ham bone for my project. So now I am going in and starting to fill in my shape with the hot glue, because we really want to build up this shape so we can get it to really look like the ham or the ham shanks that we buy in the grocery store. So this does take a little bit of time, y'all. You want to be safe with using the hot glue. Be careful when you're using hot glue so that you don't burn yourself. And you're just going to continue to layer the hot glue and give it some time in between to kind of cool off a little bit so that all of your glue doesn't continue to kind of go down and just start a big clump and pool of hot glue at the bottom of your project. So you're going to continue to build up until you get the shape that you want. It does take a little bit of time, and you do have to pause numerous times in between to make sure that the hot glue has time to cool off so that you can continue to shape it in the way that you want to. So here you see me fanning it because I'm trying to do this as a tutorial and I didn't want it to go too long. But again, we're just going to continue to layer the hot glue until we get the shape that we want for this project. Y'all, I am not really a big turkey person, and since I already have a really nice kind of turkey from Temu for my dollhouse, I thought this year it would be fun to do more of a traditional Thanksgiving that I get in my house by making me a hot glue ham. So this is why I decided to do this project. And when I posted pictures out of it, I got some really great feedback and some really great interest in this. And I thought it would be a fun project to show you all for this Thanksgiving. And I'm going to be putting this out ahead of time so that if you want to do this in your dollhouse, you'll have plenty of time to go in and do it. So here I'm continuing to shape my ham, but I'm also going in with just the tip of my hot glue to give the shape some texture, as well as to continue to layer on hot glue in the areas that I want it to be so that I can get the actual shape of a ham that I am looking for. What I love about this project is you can make this ham as big or as small as you want to, and using that wooden dowel in the middle to be kind of the ham bone just gives it a little bit more authenticity, in my opinion. So now that we have our shape looking pretty good, I'm going in and continuing to fan it a little bit. And now I am going to make my ham slices. So I just, again, make an oval on my ruler and just layer a little bit of hot glue. And I like to do mine in swirls because I think it gives great texture to the slices and makes them look a bit more realistic. Now that my ham has cooled a little bit, I'm going back over it with my hot glue tip to kind of start building in those textures a little bit deeper and making sure everything kind of looks how I want it to look. So next, I'm testing to make sure that my little areas are dry. And I'm going to go ahead now and go over my ham slices with my acrylic paint. So for this project, I am using a leather brown, a bright gold, and a deeper copper glaze so that I can get multi-layers of color on these and really make this project stand out. Now that my ham is more dry, I'm going to go over and continue to build in the texture that I want so that it's not just a big blob of hot glue, but it has those textures in it so that once it's painted, it looks really, really nice. Now that my ham is dry, I'm going over it with my first layer of that leather brown color, making sure I get into all of the little nicks and crannies and texture that I have put on this ham so that it really reads like a realistic ham. So y'all, for my colors, I'm going to be layering colors on this so that it actually looks kind of baked in and kind of glazy. So when you're doing this, just make sure you have a good layer of your base coat on so that way the rest of the colors add to and give some texture. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of mixture of my copper color and my gold, and I'm going to start to go over my ham slices so that way, y'all, it has just a little bit of a gleam to it, and it looks like it has been baked and glazed in the oven to really just give it a nice little look on camera, but also in the lighting in my dollhouse. So for my ham, I'm going over it with that same combination of color. Yes, it does look extremely gold, but we are going to go over it with that darker copper later on. So this is really just to make sure that I have another color underneath it and more depth of flavor, more depth of color in my project so that it really starts to look nice. And now I'm going over it with just the copper itself back over my ham slices, and we're going to be going over the ham as well. So as you can see, this is turning out really cute. You've got the glaze on the ham and on the ham slices as well. And the next thing we're going to do while I am waiting for my layers of paint to dry is I'm going to do my pineapple and cherry combination. So for these, y'all, I am using MiniVerse cherries and pineapples, and I am going to hot glue the cherries into the middle because I don't want them falling out once I have my project done. And I'm going to paint over it with the combination of gold and copper to start. Yes, these hot glue strings are the bane of my existence, which is one of the reasons it is a struggle to do tutorials. But going over these with that coloring just really makes it look like they've been baked in instead of them standing out bright red and yellow on your nice, beautiful glazed ham. So now that I have everything is dry, I'm going to go over my ham with that deeper color. And as you see, I'm going to do a layer, and I'm not going very heavy, y'all, because again, I want some of that gold to show through, but I just want this to look really nice and really glazed. But I also want it to have a little depth of color so that it doesn't look like a gold ham. I wanted this to look very realistic and really nice for my dollhouse. So as y'all can see, this is turning out great. And next up, I'm going to give this a little bit of time to dry, and I'm going to go over my ham slices again with that copper just by itself to give it a little extra glaze as well. So next up, y'all, I'm going to glue on my pineapples and cherries to my ham. I think this adds just a little bit more realism because this is just a big old honking piece of hot glue. But I think that adds a little bit more depth, and I'm just going over and touching up my pineapple and ham to give it a more of a glazed look. And then I'm going to remove them off. And this last step is optional, y'all. I like to paint the bottom of mine. You don't have to paint the bottom of yours because it won't be seen. But I thought it was an adorable idea. So I'm going over the bottom with 2 layers of my copper and gold mixture. And I did 2 layers because I wanted it to be a bit translucent so that I could continue to see my ham bone through the project. So I hope y'all enjoyed this project. I think it turned out absolutely adorable and looks like a cute ham. And I hope this is a craft that you try in your dollhouse. So until next time, this is Jessica, the Dollhouse Curator. We will be back next week with a whole new concept and a whole new video. Bye, y'all.